welcome back. Suicide Fantasy Football, Week 15. Now giving you what you need to know at running back and wide receiver, throwing in kicker and special teams. Jim, I think at running back, we're going to be at a consensus here.
Yeah, well, really, you should have listened to us 2 weeks ago and picked it up already.
And last week, we specifically told you, pick up David Wilson because he's not going to be available when you want to pick him up next week. You're going to have to work through the waiver wire. If you would have listened, he'd be on your bench. Now you're fighting for him.
Yep, now you're fighting for him. I like Pierre Thomas a little bit in PPR leagues. I would be taking him, like I said, in a deep PPR league. I'd be picking him up. Other than that, it's really tight.
What if Montel Owens didn't get picked up?
Montel Owens probably did get picked up. If he didn't get picked up, he's available. He's only starting.
As of this morning, I mean, I don't believe in CBS Sports Line stuff, but they said he was still available in 80% of the leagues.
Yeah, well, then I'd pick him up too. Absolutely. Yeah.
And now, what about the guys on Green Bay? You're saying no to Ryan Grant. You're saying no to Harris.
Yeah.
And Alex Green's probably
who I'm going to play if he's available. I'm going to pick him up. But if I'm not liking either of those two guys.
All right, who you sitting?
I'm sitting everybody from Arizona. Don't believe the LeBron, Stephen Howlings. Powell had a nice run. Don't believe him. Don't believe Beanie Wells. I'm sitting everybody from there, and I'm still sitting everybody from Pittsburgh.
That's my.
I don't care if it's Ryan, Redmond, Rainey, whatever. I'm sitting everybody on the Pittsburgh team.
I'm sitting Dwyer. That was my sit. Who you dropping?
I'm dropping Ronnie Hillman. If you picked him up, I'm dropping him. No, Sean Marino's got a stranglehold on that job. And I'm dropping Brown from Indianapolis because he's just beat. If you're holding on to him, thinking he's going to, Donald Brown, he's going to come
I'm so
back.
Glad you didn't say Delone Carter's an ad, too, because I would have not respected you as much.
No way.
I'm dropping Mendenhall. I cheated. I sat Dwyer and dropped Mendenhall.
Yeah.
Who are you dropping? It's the end of the year.
I know.
We're just throwing them out there.
Yeah, you're just throwing them out there.
All right, wide receiver.
I got 4 guys, so go ahead.
I'll give my 2. I got Kevin Ogletree, especially with Dez being out, Miles being dinged up a little bit, got some targets, dropped some balls. I think Tony Romo is going to look at Ogletree. Even though he's got a bad matchup defensively, I still like him. I also like Alshon Jeffrey. I think Alshon Jeffrey could be the guy they've been waiting for to be opposite Brandon Marshall. They've not been able to find anyone opposite Calvin Johnson. I think they found someone opposite Brandon Marshall. Very high on Alshon Jeffrey.
I got 4 different guys other than you. My first one I'm picking up is Brandon Gibson. If Amendola doesn't play, he's definitely the possession receiver.
Yeah, pick up Gibson so Givens can go for 100.
Nah, it's not going to be Givens. Givens is not going to go for 100. He's not the possession guy. I like Mike Thomas a little bit from Detroit. They gave him some end arounds. They gave him a little bit of action. Pettigrew's going to be out now. He's the only other option besides Chad Johnson, so I think he's going to get some touches. And I like Dominic Hickson, especially if Hakeem Nicks is beat up and banged up. He's definitely going to get some looks. My deep sleeper, and remember, when I told everybody 5 weeks ago that Denario Alexander was going to be a pickup, he was available in 99% of leagues, and everybody laughed when that's what I said. And he's probably been the second most consistent receiver since the day I said that.
Yeah.
Joe Morgan, not the second baseman from the Cincinnati Reds.
I thought he meant Josh Morgan. Messed it up.
Joe Morgan from Walsh University. The Saints wide receiver will have more points than any other Saints wide receiver this week. Pick up Joe Morgan in deep leagues, and everybody's going to laugh at you. Hold back, and you'll be the last one to laugh.
If you listen to us, you got Denario Alexander, No Sean Marino, David Wilson, and now Jim's telling you Joe Morgan.
Joe Morgan, baby.
All right, that's what we think with who to pick up. Who you sitting at wide receiver?
I'm sitting everybody on the Jets. If you got anybody you're playing, Curly, anybody like that. Chad Schillen, I saw people playing for some reason.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not picking
Chad Schillen.
Yeah, Chad Schillen was picked up in like 27% of leagues.
I see Curly, someone taking a shot at them.
Yeah, I'm not playing him.
Shit.
And I'm sitting everybody on San Francisco for their wide receivers. Whether it's Manningham or Crabtree, I'm sitting.
Games, dude.
I don't like them. I think this week they're going all run the ball. I think they're going all Kendall Hunter, Kaepernick, Frank Gore. They're just run.
I'm sitting Torrey Smith. I don't like anyone that's being covered by Champ Bailey who's had a shitty game and only shows up once in a while. I think if you show up once in a while, you're not going to show up when Champ's on you.
And my 2 cuts, Mohamed Sanu, he's not going to come back, and if he does, he's out. And Devery Henderson. I'm giving up on Devery Henderson from the Saints. I'm cutting Henderson and picking up Joe Morgan. I'm not cutting Colston and picking up Joe Morgan, but I'm sitting Colston and playing Joe Morgan. As crazy as it is.
I'm dropping David Nelson. Another easy one.
David Nelson? Who's he play for?
Buffalo. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
He doesn't play for anybody, hopefully. All right, that's what we think at the running back and wide receiver. Now throw in your kicker. If someone needs a kicker to just pick up and play this week.
I'm taking the Redskins kicker, quarterback. He was banging kicks. I couldn't believe it. He came in halfway through the season when they cut Cundiff. He's hitting them from 50. You know, these rookie kickers this year. It's one of those weird seasons where the rookies are coming out of nowhere. Tucker, Walsh, all these guys are just booming.
Greg the leg.
You're just killing them. So I'm picking up quarterback.
I'm going old school, and I'm adding Rob Baronis.
Oh.
Rob Baronis at home Monday night against the Jets. I think it's going to be a game where they move the ball up and down the field a lot, but not a lot of touchdowns scored. I think Baronis kicks 3.
Okay.
Who's your defense?
My defense, I'm going with the Miami Dolphins.
I almost went Dolphins.
I think the Dolphins have a pretty strong defense. I think they're going to play okay. I don't think Chad Henne's that great. I think they're going to smack the Jaguars around.
Smack him around.
Cam Wake is looking ridiculous. Somebody cut him in our IDP like 5 weeks ago. I couldn't pick him up in time.
All right.
I like them.
I'm adding the Raiders just because I do believe the Chiefs have mailed it in. And Brady Quinn sucks. So I could see the Raiders, even though they're not that great of a defensive team, I could see them ending up with a touchdown and keeping the Chiefs to less than 20 points.
Okay.
So it's decent for defense. All right, that's what we think. Tell us what you think. Jim at SuicideFantasySports.com, Eric at SuicideFantasySports.com. If you like what we do, subscribe to our videos below. Each week we'll put out what you need to know in each position, who to add, who to sit, who to drop. And don't forget to check out Suicide Fantasy Football. It really is the coolest way to play fantasy football. Even if you try it for 1 week for free, I guarantee you'll be coming back like crack next year.
Back like crack.